Welcome to the Best Known Church Show, where we show you how to 10x your reach with church marketing that will help you increase your impact, make more disciples, and become the cornerstone of your community again. This is for the leaders with an outrageous vision, because anything less would be an inaccurate reflection of our Creator. The ones who have unreasonable faith, because you know God works unreasonable miracles. And the ones who are relentless in the pursuit of your calling, because anything less would not make a good and faithful servant. If that's you, you're in the right place. Now, please welcome your host and guide on this journey to become the best known organization in your community, Justin Nava.
Welcome to the Best Known Church Show, where we're going to take you from the best kept secret in the community to the best known organization in your community. But to do that, you've got to make sure that you're communicating yourself, not just, hey, we're here, come check us out. We got to communicate in a way that is going to be relatable to the people in your community. And notice that I use that word community because that is what we're talking about today. Pastor, church leader, whoever's watching this, you have to know what I'm about to share with you. This is a brand new book. I don't know what you call it. Book, white paper, something, research paper on what churches can do to build a community within their community. Okay. What we're going to talk about is going to come out of Barna today, but most importantly, if you look out at your congregation and you see empty chairs, empty pews, if you feel like I said in the beginning, you're the best kept secret in town, and you know that you're doing good works, you know that God is moving, you know that God wants to move more, but you feel like you just have to sacrifice your integrity. You got to try to keep up with what all the sexy churches are doing. And maybe even you feel like we're not ready for revitalization, but it feels like everyone in our community wants something different. We can't fit in with anyone. This episode is for you. If you've spent any time watching me, listening to me, paying attention, following me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're following me, you know that I believe that every church is uniquely equipped to uniquely reach a unique group of people. And Pastor, I'm telling you, what we have today, these statistics I'm going to show you today, proves that. It proves that you are unique and people are looking for that uniqueness, that you have unique gifts and unique capabilities, not just in the physical world, not just in the spiritual world, but also in the physical world, right? God has uniquely resourced you to have the building you have, to have the people you have, to have the team and resources you have. And there are people looking for those. And if you don't believe me, stick around. You are going to be blown away by the stats that I'm about to show you. And yeah, you're equipped to uniquely reach a unique group of people, meaning that there are certain people. Again, the data is going to show that today. There are certain people looking for a church in your community that is just like you. And we're going to get into that today. And so like this, wherever you're watching or listening, like it, subscribe it so you don't miss another episode. We are hitting it. And today, by the way, we're filming this on April 13th, 2023. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the Best Known Church Show. Episode 1 came out a year ago, 365 days ago today. So I am very excited. Thank you all for joining me on this journey. You mean the world to me. If you don't know yet, my vision is to see 1 million churches become the cornerstone of their community, meaning that everyone in the community knows these churches exist, know these churches are for them, and they know when they're going through divorce, when they're going through hate, when they're going through abuse, when they're going through addiction, when they're going through victimization, whatever it might be, when they need a place, which again, we're going to talk about today, when they need hope, peace, purpose, or some way to just live in a way that's better than they are living now, they know that church exists. I want that times 1 million. And this is just one of the ways that we're going to see that happen in my lifetime. Listen, I was talking to a pastor about their church, and he told me, I want my church to be a place where everyone in the community knows we exist and is for us, right? And he said this in a way, and I was like, are you sure about that? And he said, look, I know that people will hate us, right? They hate us because they hate Jesus. I understand that. And that really resonated with me. And yeah, there will be people that hate you, but also there will be people that might hate Jesus, but might actually support what you're doing because you're positively impacting the community. Look, even the most militant atheists don't want to see families broken up. If a family starts, they don't want to see them broken up. Now, maybe they don't even want the family to start, but that's a whole separate conversation for another podcast. But they want to see their community thrive. They don't want to see people suffering. They don't want to see homeless in the street. Now, you may disagree with their methods and they may say that that's actually causing homelessness and breakup and abuse and addiction. And I may agree with you on that, but there are people, in fact, 2 of my family members represent complete opposite sides of the spectrum. I have a family member might recognize that God exists, but she's like, hey, if he exists, whatever, I'm going to live my life anyways, right? She's just not there yet. Okay. But she's always telling me, look, I love what you're doing to help churches get into the community, to make themselves known, because there are good churches out there, right? Even though she's not self-professed Christian, confessed, baptized, repented, all that stuff, she still recognized the important role the church plays in the community, and not in a worldly way, not where the church is not a gospel presenting church, but it's like basically an NGO. No, she's talking about like, you guys are actually creating a life change, and I love what you're doing, and I support what you're doing. It's not for me, what she says, but I love what you're doing. Now, on the opposite side, I have another family member, not direct, it's by relations, that says, I hate all Christians, right? It's no, not for me. I don't care. Which my first response is like, whoa, you hate an entire group of people based on their identity. Kind of weird, dude. But he's totally opposite. He wants to see all churches shut down. He wants to see all churches like taxed more than he wants to see billionaires taxed. He wants churches just to be completely gone. God's done nothing for me. Christians have done nothing for me. They've done more harm than good. You've heard all the same arguments. Complete other side of the spectrum. Okay? Your church can serve both of these people, but not at the same time. Okay? So when we talk about building community in your church and bringing your community into your church, what we're going to look at specifically is what people are looking for in a church and how you can promote your church if you're equipped to serve them in that way, which, by the way, has nothing to do with the worship service. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. If you want to reach these people in a way that's meaningful to them, in a way that's relatable to them, without sacrificing your integrity, without sacrificing your message, your values, and what makes you you, this is the show for you. So let's get into it. Listen, I want you to really hone this in because we have decades of patterns and habits to break. I want you to stop promoting your services, your Sunday morning worship services, gatherings, whatever it looks like. Now, I'm not saying you should kill it entirely, but I'm saying let's stop making it the focus of your messaging. Okay, this is kind of where we get in a lot of trouble with marriage, right? And I think one of the reasons why we see divorce rates going up is because we've made marriage kind of an idol of sex, which is already an idol of itself. We talk about no sex till marriage. We don't really talk about no intimacy till marriage, no vulnerability till marriage. What does marriage actually look like? We have a lot of young people that are getting married just because they're trying to stay pure, right? And this is in the Christian world. They're trying to stay pure, and they're like, hey, I'm ready. Let's do this so we can jump in the sack. And they get married prematurely. They don't go through the counseling. They're just thinking that it's all about sex and happiness, right? Even in the other side of the coin, marriage is all about, let's make our taxes easier. We're already living together. Let's go and just get married and make everything easier. They're getting married for the wrong reasons. They don't understand the mystery of marriage, as Paul describes it, right? Of how this is actually a union and representation. They don't go through that premarital counseling. They don't go through all the ins and outs of understanding what marriage is. To them, it's just about sex and happiness. And because of that, the marriage is failing. Now, listen, when we promote our churches, it's kind of the same way. When we just promote our worship services and our Sunday gatherings and whatever else is super important that we want people to come to, we are creating an image that this is what all the church is about. And listen, I talked to a pastor who told me, it might have been the same pastor actually. He's like, I want people to understand that our church is outside the building. Our church is a group of people. We're not just a worship service. I said, great. So if someone comes to your website, what's the one thing you want them to do? And he said, I want them to come to Sunday morning. Listen, like what you tell people is what they're going to think about you. Okay. It's kind of like that friend that friends you on Facebook from high school, that friend from high school that friends you on Facebook, and you're like, dude, I haven't talked to you in like 8 or 10 years, or maybe even longer, 20 years. And they're like, yeah, I'm so excited to friend you. Have I got a new work from home opportunity for you where you can make $10,000 a month only working an hour a day? And you are like, block, mute, unfriend. This was a waste of time, right? So if you just constantly peek into people's lives or barge into their lives and you just say, hey, come over here. Have I got a great opportunity for you? That's how you're going to sound like. Now, let's look at the data. What I'm going to show you here comes out of a brand spanking new, like literally totally changed what I was going to talk about this week because this data is so important and I'll just show you. This comes out of a new Barna publication. We'll call it a publication, white paper, research report. I don't know what you call it. Okay. It's called Making Space for Community. This is part of a series here, and I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to hopefully remember that I'm sharing it, and you can see it on the YouTube, or if you're watching Spotify video. If you're listening, I'm going to read everything so you can see it, but there are some graphs that we're going to look at. It would be worth finishing this and then going back to watch the YouTube video, okay? This is a new series called Making Space, and the second of the series is called Making Space for Community, and how the church building is supposed to function in the realm of community, discipleship, all that other good stuff. So that's what I'm looking at. That's where I'm pulling this data from. I don't know anything about research, but I trust Barna. They seem to be on the level with everything, and they seem to be really good at the research. So this report, we're not going to sit here and read the report. I would love to do like a 5-hour live stream and just read the report, but I don't have the audience to make that worth my time. I'd rather be spending that time with clients. But listen, just a few things at this report, just to give you a little teaser here of everything that's in this report before we do commentary on it. Churches should be, adults view churches as fulfilling a variety of roles, okay? Churches should exist today to facilitate people and connection and relationships. There's an emphasis on relationships over sermons, which we're going to talk about in just a second. And when it comes to the church experience, I read that 1 in 4 Christians, this is not what we're talking about today, but this is one of the stats that come in. 1 in 4 Christians say they don't know many people at their church. That's a problem, right? Because we've been emphasizing sermons over relationships. There's also stuff in here about satisfaction with your church, the church as a headquarters of discipleship, and a little bit of how online and in-person church should function and facilitate. So all that is in this report. We're going to talk about 2 specific things today. Okay, that was a total distraction. Let me get back into what we're talking about, which is, hey, you need to stop promoting your service primarily and talk about these 3 things instead. I'm going to pull up one report here on this page. Give me just a second to go back to my tab. This is why I don't do a lot of screen sharing on podcasts, because it takes me a second here to switch screens and all that. But in here, they survey Christians and non-Christians on why the church should meet. Okay, so let me go back to my screen. So, man, so many pop-ups here on my computer. So they talk about why churches meet, and there's a lot of information here and the purpose of a church. And I want to focus and key in right now on one specific report here. So they asked people in regards to Christian churches, how churches should use their physical space. Okay. So which of the following do you feel should be the purpose of a church's physical space? The number one top answer, 40% of people said not Sunday morning worship. Okay. They said providing a place for prayer, meditation, or reflection. Okay. Number 2 is not worship service. Okay. Number 2 is providing a place for spiritual growth. And number 3 is not worship. It is providing safety and security. Then you get to number 4, providing worship and fellowship. And if you're curious, if you're listening and can't see this, in the order following: creating a sense of community, providing community service, aiding people in experiencing the presence of God, facilitating the sharing of gospel. I think that needs to be higher. Providing a place of respite from the world, serve as a physical space for religious practice that is recognizable from people outside, providing a place for religious leaders to teach, and providing a place that is fun and exciting to attend. Notice that last one I just read. providing a place that is fun and exciting to attend. We will come back to that. But look at the top 3 here. Providing a place for prayer, meditation, and reflection. Providing a place for spiritual growth. Providing safety and security. This is what your people are looking for in your community. So when we look at promoting our churches, are we promoting not even the top 3 things that they actually care about and want to see in a church? And I'm not saying that we bend the knee and do what the community wants. I'm saying we need to present ourselves in a way that we're already doing, in a way that is important to what people are needing. And no one is walking around saying, man, I need a Sunday service to go to. They are walking around and saying, I need something more. There is an itch in my heart that I cannot scratch, that nothing in this world is scratching. Where can I get this from? That's spiritual growth. They are saying, I am stuck. I need to get out of this abusive relationship. I need to get out of this addiction. I need someone to help me get safe. That is safety and security. Or maybe I just need a place to get away from the world and focus on God. I just need a place to self-reflect. I just need a place to go reset everything. That's a place of prayer, meditation, and reflection. Okay. And notice too, even facilitating worship and fellowship. I mean, that's pretty much the worship service. That's answer number 4. And creating a sense of community is number 5. Those are only 1% point difference. To me, they're pretty much right alongside each other. Okay. So the community is just is almost just as important. I mean, within a point difference. In fact, I think it's within the margin of error, they said, to facilitating worship. So I consider those right on par. So if people are walking around and saying, hey, this is what I think a church does, or this is what I think a church should do, if your church is providing that, that is how you get people to pay attention. That is how you get people to pay attention to you. Now listen. God, my screens are all over this place. The top 3 results here are not about service. Again, they are about what the community needs the most. Okay. If you ask, what's the purpose of the vacuum? I'm going to say, yeah, it sucks up dirt, but I'm going to probably say like it cleans my carpet. It gets all the dog hair out. It helps me do that. Why? Because I don't need something that sucks something up. I need something that cleans my carpet, that gets my carpets clean enough for my toddler to roll on. Okay. It's not about the features. It's about what it means for me. And so, yeah, your church can have a service on Sunday mornings. Your church can provide these services and missions and opportunities for your community, but what does it mean for them? Why should they care? This is why we talk about like, yeah, you're doing something. Why should people care? Meaning, is there a way that you can link it to bringing people in for prayer, meditation, and reflection, bringing people in for spiritual growth, bringing people in for safety and security? Or are you just saying, come over here because we meet at 11, right? There are ways to do this wisely. There are ways to do it unwisely. And by the way, you notice here, let me go back to my screen. Notice here that the very last option here, the very last one, we think churches should the purpose of a church is to provide something that is fun and exciting to attend. The very last one. What is that? 9%. Okay. And I think as pastors and church leaders, we have flipped the script on that. We think, well, what can we do to get people excited to come to church? Like, you don't have to do anything. Make it a place that's safe, secure, gives them an avenue for spiritual growth, prayer, meditation, and reflection. Those things alone will get people excited because that's what they think a church should provide for them. Now, you do provide that. You do it in your own context, and you can promote that context to the people, but do it in a way that's not Sunday mornings at 11, okay? And maybe even as you seek to build out your discipleship pathway, maybe that step 1 is not Sunday service, but maybe that step 1 is coming in for prayer, meditation, reflection, spiritual growth, or safety and security. All right. There's one more picture here. Meaningful church experience. Look at what people say creates a meaningful church experience. Number 1, connecting to God. Growing closer to Jesus. The presence of the Holy Spirit. Emotional comfort, spiritual development. Okay? All of those ranked higher than anything else related to the service, right? the service, things like worshiping together, learning about the Bible, the pastor, the sermon, tithing. Less than 50% said that's very important. Okay. More than 50% of people said this is really important. Connecting to God, growing closer to Jesus, presence of the Holy Spirit, emotional comfort, and spiritual development. Are you promoting those in your church promotions? Or are you just saying, come to service because it's at 11 o'clock and you can bring your kids and we have a nursery? I'm terrible at this too. Already I'm thinking of 2 websites we built in the last month in April. And I'm like, we got to go back and we've got to really push this there. Right? I think we nailed it with one. I'll show it to you at the end of the show. So when you say plan a visit, what am I planning a visit to? Am I going to come plan a visit and know what to hear about the sermon or meet the pastor? Less than half of your people are going to care about that. Are we going to learn about the worship experience? Less than half the people are going to care about that. So instead of what to expect, the features of the service, how about expect to connect to God? How about expect to grow closer to Jesus? How about to expect the presence of the Holy Spirit? How about to expect emotional comfort? How about to expect spiritual development? Expect answers. Okay. In fact, community ranks up just as high as worshiping together and learning about the Bible. By the way, this report is, I think it's $20, or you can get their membership. We just have a membership; it's easier. It's like $20 a month, so you basically get all the reports for the price of one. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not a sponsor. I don't even know anyone at Barna. I think I know one person at Barna. So she's actually part of Glue, so I don't even know if that's the same. But this is really good stuff. So what does this mean? Let's wrap this back up into your church. Okay. And by the way, I'm only making 2 points today because these are so meaty and beefy. Okay. Here's what it means so you can build a faith community by reaching out to your community. Number 1, you don't have to make the service your number 1 priority. It should probably not even be your number 2 priority. What do we talk about? Providing a safe space for prayer, meditation, reflection. Okay. Providing meaningful spiritual growth. Providing a place for people to connect to God. Yes, your service can do all of this, but then when you promote your service, promote those things, not the features, okay? And by the way, when I keep seeing features, there's a saying in marketing, no one wants a hole in the wall. Or excuse me, no one wants a drill, they want a hole in the wall. Right? And you're kind of like, "Oh, okay, so don't just talk about the thing, talk about what the thing does." But that doesn't go far enough. Okay? No one wants a hole in their wall. I have holes all over my house from the previous owner. Okay. They want to hang a picture. Okay. So that's the feature, advantage, benefit. The feature is the drill has 52,000 RPMs. I don't know. I just made up a number. The advantage is you can put the hole in the wall quickly, but the benefit is you're going to have a beautiful hanging picture, and you can even go deeper. You're going to love walking into your house. Okay. You've seen those ads that take it a little too far, like buy the Black & Decker drill. You're going to love your home after you buy this drill. And you're like, what? No, that doesn't make any sense. But the connection can be there. So don't talk about your service at 11, and don't even talk about or spend a lot of time on what to expect in worship. Talk about what transformation and the benefit is for people choosing your church. Are they going to connect to God? Are they going to feel the Holy Spirit? Are they going to discover their purpose? Are they going to be healed? What does that look like? So feature, advantage, benefit. I should do a whole show on that, just that. Feature is what you do. Advantage is why it's good or better than everyone else. And the benefit is what kind of transformation can you expect? So don't focus on the service. Focus on safety, security, prayer, reflection, meditation, whatever the other one was, okay? Spiritual growth. All right. And the second thing is you no longer have to hype yourself up. So many pastors are saying no one wants to come to our building because it's blank, blankety, blank, blank. Okay. Well, guess what? People aren't coming to your building because of that. Now, you do need to have an updated building. I was very upset when I put on Facebook, I get frustrated when pastors tell me they want to reach more people and they want the church to be more than a building. But instead of having us do outreach for them, they just replace the carpet or paint the walls. It's a very frustrating experience for me. And so many people thought I meant that churches just need to be neglected, eviction worth, and derelict and about to crumble. I'm not saying that. Okay. If you got a leak in your roof, fix the leak in your roof. Okay. Your church. In fact, there's even some data in here about the importance of having an excellent designed church, a well-meaning reflection, almost a reflection of God's design in the design of our church. There is some data to support that, not nearly as much as what we're talking about here, which is why I didn't pick that to talk about. But you no longer have to hype yourself up and pretend you're not something that you aren't, because as long as your worship is facilitating people to connect with God, to grow personally more closer with Jesus, to feel the presence of the Holy Spirit, to spiritually grow, spiritually mature, be discipled, have community. As long as you have all that, which most local small churches do, then you need to be promoting yourself and going out there, because that's what people are looking for. And if you say, we don't have good music, our sound system's not great, we don't have great live streaming, guess what? People don't care about that as much as community, faith, spiritual growth, and having a safe and secure place to work out their faith. So we have no reason to cower and say, we've got to fix our building, we've got to fix our worship. What we are already doing is what people are looking for. Let's go tell them it exists, and it exists at your church. Whew. All right, good. Let me go on to the next point here. I want to talk about... Ooh, okay. Sometimes people tell me, like, have you preached before? And I'm like, yeah, and it wasn't very good. I guess I'm just more comfortable preaching about this than the Bible stuff. I always feel very self-conscious when I talk about like biblical, spiritual stuff versus just like, how can I equip you to reach more people so you can tell them about biblical, spiritual stuff? I've always been more of a behind the scenes kind of person. People don't believe me when I say that. I'm an introvert. After this, I'm going to take a long lunch because this stuff knocks me out. So listen, you know that you're equipped. You are equipped, and you have what people are looking for. Not only that, you have what most people are looking for, despite your buildings, despite where you meet, despite your shortcomings. As long as you're providing spiritual growth, as long as you're providing an avenue for community, and as long as you're providing things for those spiritual needs that people want and expect in a church, then you're good to start promoting. Okay. Once you start promoting your church, how do you make it so your church is the one people visit? There are numerous kinds of people that are looking for a church. There are those that just moved into the area and they're already churchgoers and they're just looking for a new church to plug in. Those are honestly the most frustrating people to market to, because they're so nitpicky. They come in and they want to change things like they are. You can go after those people, and we can help you go after those people. But I much prefer people that like have a hole in their heart, and they know it. There's a hole in their heart, and they're like, I need something new, right? And those could be new movers that are coming in looking for a fresh start. They're either coming out of a bad relationship, coming out of a significant life change, or they just graduated, just got married, and they're looking to start a new thing. And what a better time to get someone plugged into the church when they're already in the mindset of something new. Okay. You're also gonna be reaching out to people that maybe had another significant life change, sometimes good, sometimes bad, right? And very rarely do people come to church and look for Jesus when things are going good, right? We know that as church leaders. So you're gonna have people that are going through significant life changes. We talked about this in our Facebook ads, that you can actually show Facebook ads to those people. You can't learn about them. Facebook knows about them, but you can tell Facebook to show ads to those people. And then you've got people that are just curious, right? They know that they need something more in their lives. And when you promote yourself as the place where that spiritual growth can happen, not the place that meets Sundays at 11, but the place that spiritual growth can happen, all right, you can then speak to their lives and reach those people. Now, listen, I want you to understand, before we go into the data, I want you to understand something here. And this is really what separates growing churches from stagnant churches. I won't even say dying church. I'm just going to separate growing from stagnant, okay? There are a lot of churches doing good work that are just stagnant. They're plateaued, right? The number of people that leave pretty much equal the number of people that come in, all right? And I want you to understand this, because once you understand this, it's actually kind of freeing, okay? It's kind of like when you do ministry and you're trying to do everything, and you realize that the most freeing thing to bring more health to your ministry is saying no. Right? A pastor that says yes to everything is a pastor that doesn't get much done and probably has a rocky relationship at home. A pastor that knows his focus, knows his vision, can make easy decisions, has a happier relationship at home, has a better relationship with his kids, and tells people no, but it's to protect his ministry, his family, and his mental state. So understanding that, you'll understand what I'm about to say. You won't make everyone happy. You are not equipped to serve everyone. And think of it like you've got a group of people. Let's take your finance committee, if it's 3 or more people, maybe even like your whole church staff or your whole church leadership, a group of 10, 12, 15, 20 people, okay? Maybe you're a large church. I don't know why you're watching this. You're more than welcome to watch this, but my show is mostly for churches sub 300, okay? But if you're over 300, great. I hope you learn from this, but you're going to have like 50 people, which makes this analogy even more true, actually. And you tell the committee, we're going to vote, and we all have to agree we're going to get ice cream for this meeting. What ice cream should we get? What ice cream do you think you're going to get if you ask 12 to 15 to 20 to 100 people what kind of ice cream they want? You're going to end up with vanilla because no one's going to agree on everything. One person's allergic to nut. One person's allergic to chocolate. One person doesn't like marshmallow. One person doesn't like Bluebell. I don't know why they're on the committee. They should be excommunicated from the church. They don't like Bluebell. This person only eats non-dairy ice cream. And so what do you get? You get non-dairy, vanilla, plant-based, vegan ice cream. You might as well have just licked the walls. It would have tasted the same, right? So if you try to make everyone happy, you're going to end up making no one happy because all 12 of those people or 20 of those people, no one said vanilla. No one actually wants that. And so if you have trouble promoting your church to your community, getting your community aware, and you seem like no one's paying attention, no one cares, we're very forgettable, it's because you're trying to be everything to everyone. Paul said he's going to be everything to everyone. You and I can be everything to everyone. Your church as an organization, as a gathering, cannot. And a good example of that is your sermons. Do you have an English sermon? Do you have a Spanish sermon? Do you have a Korean sermon? Do you have a Chinese sermon? Do you have an Indian sermon? Do you have a Spanish sermon? Do you have a German sermon? Ooh, I've never said that before. German sermon. No, you don't. You have a sermon in English, okay? It doesn't mean you're neglecting all the other native language speakers in your community and you don't care about them, you don't love them. It's that you're not equipped to communicate, to share the gospel with them, okay? I had a little hiccup there. So you have to understand that in order to make your church, all that to say, in order to make your church the one that people want to visit, you need to present yourself as the one that person wants to visit, okay? So if I'm an English-speaking church, I'm not going to go promote myself in Korean-speaking language communities because they're not going to want to come to my church. And I'm just going to waste my time, energy, and neglect the people I can minister to if I continue to go after these people and just, I'm doing the Chris Tucker, can you understand the words that are coming out of my... No, we're not doing that. We're going after the English speakers because we only speak English. We understand that, okay? If you don't have a kids ministry or you don't have a thriving college ministry, right? You may want to build that up sometime, but in the meantime, you're going to focus on the families that you can minister to or the older generation that you can minister. Or maybe you've got a great, like the children's ministry makes up most of your budget. Then you want to go after the families with kids. Doesn't mean you don't love the singles. Doesn't mean you don't love the retired because the retired have grandkids too. Doesn't mean you don't love all those people. It means that God has equipped us with the resources to reach this group of people in a unique way. And so in order for my church to be the one that they want, I need to make sure that I promote what my strengths are, what my church is equipped to do and how we do it, so that when they see all the churches, they see ours and says, that's the one for me. That's how you get people to know that you're the one to visit, is because they understand that your church is uniquely planted, equipped, and grown to serve them. And if you try to say you're going to serve everyone, you're going to showcase that you can't serve anyone. And the data shows that here. I'm going to pull up the data now, and we're going to take a look at this. Okay, jump to page. I know this is just riveting. I love watching these share screens, but man, I'm not good at them. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen here. We are going to look at this here. We're talking about the ideal church, the look and feel of church community. Now, they surveyed these people and said, hey, tell me about your ideal church and then tell me about the church you're going to, and let's compare the two. Let me ask you this before I show the chart. Do you think that people's ideal church is very different from their current church? Or do you think they line up pretty similarly? They probably, I don't know what your answer is, but my guess was like they're probably going to line up because who would want to go to a church they don't like, right? So look at this. They asked all these people, they said, hey, tell me about they kind of gave a dichotomy, a binary of answers here, right? Do you want a church that's more familiar or that's more novel? Do you want a church that's more authentic or more professional? Do you want a church that's more relaxed or more exciting? More spontaneous or rehearsed? Intimate or anonymous? Community or privacy? Solemn or entertaining? Participatory or watchable? Variety or consistency? I'm going to say that one again. Variety or consistency? People want consistency. Energetic or reflective? Formal or casual? Exhilarating or calming? Loud or quiet? Guess which one won that one? Quiet, right? So when they polled people, and I'm reading the data here, I'm like, man, why do all these churches, and I'm guilty of this too, why are we chasing after exciting, loud, up-tempo, energetic worship services when people seem to actually want a little bit something different? Right? A good example is relaxed or exciting. There are certain people that would love to go to an exciting worship service every Sunday. People like us, that might be exhausting. Okay. But if I can go to a relaxed one where I can actually like calm, reflect, and not be stressed out every week, then hey, I'm pretty cool with that. And apparently the data. Okay, so I'm going to go through these and we're going to look at what most people prefer. In both the ideal church and the current church, like the church they're currently going to, people like familiarity. So you don't need to be changing things every week. Familiarity is good. Even sermon series, right? Andy Stanley, like their stage looks the same, but when he does sermon series, they decorate the stage. It looks good, but it's still familiar. I can still tell it's the North Point stage. Authentic or professional. What do these two terms mean? I'll let you think that, but people prefer authenticity over professionalism. Now, you may say, well, if people prefer that, then why do these churches, these great grand rehearsed churches exist? Because there's still 26% of 1 in 4 people still want that church, okay? But a vast majority, again, I'm talking to those churches, sub 300, local church, just trying to get by, trying to serve their local community, impact their community, grow their kingdom in the context of the local municipality. 3 out of 4 people want your authentic church. Okay? Spontaneous or rehearsed has a little bit of the most differential between the two. People said ideally it is a little bit more spontaneous, but currently they're about the same. It's about half spontaneous, half rehearsed. Okay? Intimate or anonymous. This one's a big one. Okay? People in the majority want a more intimate church atmosphere than anonymous. And I think so many times we sell ourselves we allow people to sell us what we sell ourselves. Okay. So if we think, well, people just want to come in and be anonymous and leave, like there are people like that, apparently 1 out of 3 people, but there are more people who want to come in and actually want to be intimate. The problem is they don't know how. They don't know how to initiate that conversation, especially the younger folk, right? People want in-person intimacy and relationships, but they don't know how to initiate that. And so when they come in and leave, we think, well, that's just what they wanted. They wanted anonymity. No, they wanted someone to go talk to them. So knowing this, 2 out of 3 people that are going to walk in your building, like they want you to come up and greet them and learn their name. Same thing with community and privacy. People want community more than privacy. Solemn and entertaining are pretty close to even. Same thing with participatory and watchable. And the ideal church, it's pretty much split down the middle. In the current church, it's more participatory than watchable. So, hey, like that's totally fine. I would prefer participatory church myself. Variety or consistency, a little bit leaning towards consistency. Energetic or reflective, again, around 60% to 40% want reflective. Actually, it's closer to 65-35, want reflective. Casual or formal, no surprise there. Actually, people want casual. Calming or exhilarating, 75 to 25 want calming. Meaning 75% of respondents actually wanted calming worship services than exhilarating. And I think sometimes energetic can be calming, but hey. And then quiet and loud. I thought this was interesting. Okay, people want quiet, 77 to 23 or 71 to 29. Around 75 to 25 prefer something quiet. So people overwhelmingly gravitate, listen to this. People overwhelmingly gravitate toward churches that are calming, reflective, and relaxed. If you look at your church, not as a leader, right? Nothing's ever calming, reflective, or relaxed when you're leading church. But as a leader, if you look at your service and say, you know what, this actually, it's not energetic, it's not loud, it's not upbeat, it's calm. We're relaxed here. We do a lot of reflecting than a lot of shouting. Your church is the one that people are already looking for because that's what they want in an atmosphere. Community is favored over privacy, familiarity over novelty, and intimacy over anonymity. A deep desire, this is Barna talking, a deep desire for an experience of connection in a church environment is palpable in these results. I've been listening to a preacher that uses that word a lot too. There are some generational differences which we can talk about, but we're running up on time here. So let's break that down. Listen, notice that the preferred atmosphere again goes against what many leaders are chasing. Okay, calm, reflective, and relaxed, not upbeat. Let's get this Hillsong on. No, we don't need that every week. It's great for a youth conference. It's great for like the youth band playing in Sunday service. But most people in an atmosphere, they want something calm, reflective, and I feel like a lot of pastors are chasing that. When the data shows that your community, when they want like a faith community, they want something that's not quite that. Okay. And so people, another thing too, let me pull up this graph again, because this really surprised me too. If you look now, I'll have a hard time explaining this for the audio listeners, which is a majority, by the way. It's why I'm spending so much time sharing what's on the screen, because most of my listeners, most of my viewers, consumers, I don't know what you call them, followers are listening on audio. But they ask people, tell me about your ideal church and then tell me about your current church. In almost every category, all but one. How many are there? 9, 12, 13? All but one, 12 out of 13, if my quick scan is right. Their current church actually matches their ideal church within like 5 points of each other. Meaning that the people that want familiarity, they go to a church that's familiar. The people that want novelty go to a church that's novel. The people that want a relaxed church are going to a relaxed church. The people that want an exciting church are going to an exciting church. Same thing with all these, exhilarating or calming, formal or casual, right? 27% of people want a formal church. 30% are going to a formal church. What does this mean for us? This means that people are finding churches that match their ideal church. My story is very similar, right? When we moved, we wanted a church that had a heavy discipleship focus. Our discipleship group in my last church changed our family's life. I mean, really just totally impacted it. Life-changing in so many ways. So we wanted something similar, and we just could not find a church around here until we actually eventually did, Home Church Network. And so that became our church because that matched our ideals of what kind of atmosphere we want in a church. And so people are finding a church that's their ideal match, and most people are going to match with your church. More, I should say, are going to match with your church than you might think or believe. Okay? So don't get all hung up on the loud voices here. Don't get hung up on our insecurities, which are often loud voices, right? You heard the term squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I think so many squeaky wheels want something high, energetic, and pastor, you should dress like this and talk like this, and our worship band should look like this, and we need to do this. And they're like, yeah, I want this kind of church because they're at your church. They're in that 3% that are like, this is my ideal church, but I'm not there because this is my current church, right? They're in that 3%, but that 3% makes up 80% of what we hear. Don't get bogged down in what a few people are telling you. Real life is not Twitter. Real life is not the person that comes in every day talking to you. Real life is the people that are trying to get by, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to take care of their kids, trying to do a good job. And the one time they come to church is they come on Sundays and they go because they want something relaxed, casual, intimate, community. They don't go for the preaching. They go for the community. The one caveat is generational differences. Okay. Although most respondents favor reflective church environments, Gen Z prefers energetic services and millennials reflective services by slight margins. So, depending on who you're equipped to go after, okay, not who you want to go after, who you're equipped to go after. We talked to a client a couple weeks ago who realized we're revitalizing, and I thought we were revitalizing to serve a younger group of people, but I'm realizing that God's equipped us and revitalizing us to go after the people that are 50 to 80 that our community is leaving behind, because our community is getting younger and they don't fit in anywhere. So our church is actually equipped to serve and disciple these people. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little realization there in our meeting, which is how marketing can so well help our ministries. So how do you promote these? Okay, number one, people who can serve, people who you can serve will look for you and choose you when they find you. Meaning, if I want a calm, communal, intimate type of church, I'm going to go looking for that kind of church. But I'm not going to choose you if I don't know you exist. This is why becoming going away from being the best kept secret to becoming the best known is so important, because your church is equipped to reach certain people, and those people are out there in your community in numbers that are greater than you could believe, but they don't know you exist because you're not showing up when they're searching. So you've got to promote yourself. You've got to get your name out there. If you want to make a bigger impact, if you want to grow the kingdom, you want to open up new discipleship opportunities, you have got to promote yourself and get yourself out there, because whenever you're not doing it, someone else is. And I'm not talking about other churches. I'm talking about the enemy. I'm talking about TV. I'm talking about secular religion. I'm talking about addiction, abuse, really, even though they may not think it's that, okay? Self-harm. Even things that we like. Hollywood, movies, gaming. Those things are like filling that hole because we're not making our presence aware. So promote yourself and promote you. Okay? Promote what makes you you. Don't lie. Don't feel like you have to match the church, right? You may be a church of 30, and the church across the street is at 1,700. You don't have to promote like they do. Promote like you do. You're going to bring some hardcore people that don't want, like my family, we don't want that 1,700 person church. I'd rather the 30 person church. Okay? And stop trying to serve everyone, or you will serve no one. Okay? Because again, if we look at this chart, if you say, well, yeah, you know what? We are a relaxed a church, but it's exciting to be relaxed. But we do have exciting services. It's exciting when God moves here, but we're relaxed. Okay? I understand what you're trying to say, but to the people that want a relaxed service, they're going to see that and say, oh, well, he said exciting. I don't want exciting. I want relaxed. And the people that are looking for an exciting church are going to be like, well, he said relaxed. I don't want relaxed. I want exciting. Now I'm dumbing it down extremely. Okay. We might say this, like, hey, we have a fantastic community here. We'd love to know your name. And if you want to just walk in, shake a hand, sit down, we're not going to pressure you. Okay. So again, the person that's looking for privacy is saying, well, they want to build a community. I'm going to walk in, they're going to shake my hand. I don't want that. I just want to go check out what this church is. No thanks. And at the same time, the people that want community are like, well, if they're cool with me coming in and they're not going to chase after me, they must not care about me. I'm not going to go in. You see how you can't be everything to everyone, and that's okay. Okay. Well, it's not, ideally, right, in a pre-fallen world, we'd all be the same church, right? But that's not the case. Okay. So it's okay to say, hey, you know what? We're not exciting. We're going to shake your hand. We're going to learn your name. There are people that want that. Or like an introverted client we have in Arkansas. Hey, when you come in, we're just going to tell you what Jesus is about. We're going to let him get intimate with you, and we're going to be here if you need us. But hey, we're just glad you're here. Sometimes being in community for these people, these introverted people that are, again, being left behind by other churches, sometimes it's cool just to to do community by just sitting next to each other, right? How many times do we just want to sit next to our spouse and read the paper or read a book while they play on their phone, right? You're not being intimate. You're not, dialoguing or building up a relationship, but you're in the same room together and it feels good, right? So, you don't have to be everything to everyone, because if you try to do that, you're going to show that you're what everyone doesn't want. Okay. It never works out the other way. You don't say we're everything and they say, oh, they've got what I like. It's, oh, they're doing things I don't like. I don't care for. So no, thanks. Okay. There are, this is a great article. I wish I had a little graphic to show you where to get it, but I don't. What I am going to tell you instead is go to, you need to promote you. You need to promote what makes you. You need to promote like exactly how your church is meeting the spiritual needs of people, not the features, not the music, not the tables, the coffee, the donuts, not the kids ministry playground. You need to communicate spiritual growth, how you're equipping people to live a more fulfilled life. And you need to promote that. In order to promote that the right way, you need to start with this checklist. Go to bestknownchecklist.com. We're going to show you everywhere you can promote these things, where you can tell people, this is a place where you can connect with God. This is a place where you can figure out your purpose. This is a place where you can grow spiritually, figure out what you're on this earth for. And that's what you're communicating, but you got to communicate it in the right way. If you just put it on your website, no one's going to see it. You've got to get people to your website. And there are certain ways to do that, and those ways are in the bestknownchecklist.com. Again, that's the bestknownchecklist.com. Quick example of a church of a website we just launched. Let me pull this off the screen. And this is a what we call a minimal viable website, meaning like their website was coming up for renewal. They wanted us to build a new one, so they canceled the old one. We had to get something up quick. But this one, we originally said, hey, you know what? Why don't we're a church that answers your questions, and it's very important that we're honest here. And it was just too generic. And we said, hey, we really like this one line because this really describes our essence. Okay. And so we totally reformatted it. And now when you come to the church, you notice that they don't have any, they're a church without the regular baggage of normal, typical modern churches. They strive to build a community through Jesus as he calls us to live. Okay? Yes, you can come. Yes, you can come on a Sunday. Okay? But you're going to find out what God has in store for you in a community where you can belong and grow. And it doesn't stop there. Right? There's a journey together. There's abundant living together. This is the message of this church, that it's not about a Sunday, and it's not even about the questions you ask on a Sunday. It's about the one who created you, the one who has the answers, and the one who can guide you in the everlasting fulfilled life. That is what church is all about. That is what people are looking for in a church. So promote what's you as you. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to play nice. Don't try to choose nice words. I mean, I'm taking this internally as well because we had to rewrite that site. Okay? To know, to build your faith community, you have to present yourself in a way that's accessible. And people know what kind of atmosphere they want in a church. They know what kind of services they want. They know what kind of growth they want. They know what's missing in their lives. So present yourself present Jesus through your church as the solution to that hole in their heart, as the one that can guide them to that fulfillment, that can guide them to that peace. Because if you just say, we have a service at 11, how does that answer my emotional need or my spiritual need to grow closer to God or to walk closer with Jesus? To figure out why I was created. A service doesn't do that. You and I both know that. So don't just promote your service, and don't just promote what you think people want. Promote what makes you you. And the people that are out there that you can serve will find you. As long as you do the work, which I believe is your moral obligation as a pastor and church leader, to make yourself known so they can find you and come to you. And your growth may stop at 500. Or maybe, God willing, you stop at 100 and you split off and you form a new church. Not split off, but what do they call it? Birth a church, plant a church, whatever. That would be great. But you've got to make yourself known. You cannot grow if people don't know you. And if you rely on word of mouth and invites, you're only going to reach the circle of your influence or maybe your circle. But there are more than plenty of people who don't even know that you don't exist. And they don't even know people that are in your church or even know you. They don't even know someone that knows of your church. Okay, you've got to do whatever it takes to go out and reach more people because, as we've seen today, people want your church. God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe wherever you are, and I will see you all next week.
That's going to do it for today's episode of the Best Known Church Show with Justin Nava. Be sure to subscribe to stay updated on the latest news, strategies, and resources that you need to reach 10x more people and become the best known in your community. To send us a message or leave a voicemail for Justin to be played on a future show, visit thebestknownchurchshow.com. And if you'd like to work with us so you can focus on your ministry, give us a call at 832-861-7654. Until next time, stay outrageous, unreasonable, and relentless.